Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy One Arm, and today on the Benched channel, we'll be doing my 2020 NFL Mock Draft 1.0, right? This is going to be before the Combine and before, of course, the draft. But yeah, with that being said, let's get right into it. We're using the Draft Network's draft simulator here. And so, yeah, we have the Cincinnati Bengals with the #1 overall pick. It's a lock-in. I think they take Joe Burrow, LSU quarterback, probably the best grade coming out as a quarterback in this draft. Tua could have given him a run for his money if he didn't get injured, but I think Cincinnati fans are jumping for joy drafting Joe Burrow. Up next, we have the Washington Redskins. Now, the Washington Redskins have a new coach. Drew Haskins is their quarterback. But I believe still that they take the best player that is not a quarterback in this year's draft in Chase Young. He's very powerful, very disciplined run defender. He's great off the edge. He has a motor that just, is always going. And so I believe pairing him with Sweat on the other end is going to make that defensive line just monstrous. That pass rush is going to be evil. Up next, we have the Detroit Lions. Now, here's where the draft actually begins in my book, and I think the Detroit Lions, even though they've been shopping around Matt Stafford or possibly shopping around, I believe they take Jeffrey Okudah here. Jeffrey Okudah is he's very athletic. He's got great feet, smooth hips. He's exceptional in man coverage, and I believe pairing him with Slay will bolster that defense. But even if they lose Slay, I think drafting Okudah here is probably the smart bet to do as a replacement. And I see them taking Okudah. Up next, we have the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants need a lot of help, right? And they've gone all in on Daniels. And so they have Saquon Barkley back there, but they need a lot of help. But I believe they take Jedrick Willis here, offensive tackle from Alabama. He's a polished run blocker. He has insane strength. He's a world mover, right? He gets his hands on you. He's definitely pushing you back. And I believe that drafting Willis here will help keep Daniels upright, and it will help make bigger holes for Saquon to run through. And yeah, Jedrick Willis to the Giants. Up next, we have the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Miami Dolphins basically gave up anyone and everyone that had any draft stock left in them that they could get a draft pick for. So they have 3 first-round draft picks this year. And with their first one, I think they take a shot on Tua. I really do. Depending on how his medical goes, he's supposed to be at the Combine. Probably won't run, but hopefully we get to see him answering some questions and they give us a little bit more insight on his injury and how well he's recovering. But I still think the Miami Dolphins take him at 5 here. Yeah, I believe he would have been possibly the first overall drafted quarterback, but his injury kind of hurt him. So the Dolphins definitely get a steal there. Up next, we have the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers are definitely in need of a quarterback since their previous quarterback is no longer on the team, and they have Tyrod Taylor. As much as I like Tyrod Taylor, I do not believe that he is their answer. So with that being said, I believe that they take Oregon quarterback Justin Herbert. Now, Justin Herbert has a huge arm, can make any throw. He has the ability to move the ball with his legs as well. He needs a little work in some small areas here and there. But yeah, I think the Chargers get a great quarterback in Justin Herbert. And, I think he really helps that team. Up next, we have the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Carolina Panthers lost a very important key part of their team this year in Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly retired, and I think he was the general of that whole team. He was definitely a captain. And I think with that being said, they could either take Derek Brown here or Isaiah Simmons, and I have them taking Isaiah Simmons. He's a dual threat. He can play linebacker and he can play safety. He's just a beast. He has great sideline to sideline range. He's great at tackling. And like I said, you could play him at two positions, so you basically get two players right there. You fill two needs, I mean, is what I'm trying to say, right? Linebacker and safety. So the Carolina Panthers select Isaiah Simmons. Up next, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Arizona Cardinals have the Offensive Rookie of the Year in Kyler Murray, and a lot of people thought he wasn't going to make it through the season, but he basically willed that team to a bunch of their wins, actually. It was really insane, and I was very impressed, but they definitely need to keep this man standing. He took a lot of hits last year from just poor offensive line play, and so here I believe they take offensive tackle Andrew Thomas from Georgia. Andrew Thomas, very powerful blocker. He's great in the run game and in the pass protection. He's extremely powerful, and he would definitely help keep Murray standing. And he would open up some lanes for the running backs back there too, because they still have David Johnson, who I believe might have a better year this year. But Andrew Thomas to the Cardinals. Up next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars are in need of some help. They need linebacker, cornerback, safety. They need a lot of defensive help. But with that being said, I believe they go offensive side on the side of the board here, right? I believe they take wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Now, CeeDee Lamb is one of 2-1 receivers to me, right? So you have 1A and 1B. CeeDee Lamb is one of those receivers, right? He has elite ball skills, catching ability. He has great speed and ability to make plays and move the chain. And I believe that is what the Jacksonville Jaguars were lacking last year. They didn't have a receiver that could, even if he's being covered, would catch the ball and break a tackle and, move the chains or even take it for 70 yards. So I believe they take CeeDee Lamb here with their pick. Up next, we have the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns are interesting here because they need offensive tackle help, right? And probably one of my favorite offensive tackles in this draft is Big Mekhi Becton, right? He came out today. He's like, listen, you want people to be moved? Draft me. I'll move them for you, right? And that was basically, he was just saying, you want to be able to run the ball? Draft me and just run the ball behind me, right? And so he's powerful at the point of attack. He's big, he's strong, he moves very well, and he has great mobility for a big man, right? And he has the ability to clean up scraping linebackers, for linebackers that get through the hole or get through and just, he has the ability to pick them up. And I think Mekhi Becton right here to the Browns is a great fit. Up next, we have the New York Jets. Now, the Jets have some key needs that they need to pick up here, but I think they go for the important one, and I believe that's offensive tackle. And I think they take Tristan Wirfs from Iowa. He's long, he's strong, he's got great balance. He doesn't allow defenders to get under his pads, and what I mean by that is pad level is very important when you're playing offensive and defensive line, right? So if the defender gets under your pads, if he's lower than you, then you're kind of being stretched up. You're not being able to get the power that you need to be able to, to block that defender, right? And so he doesn't allow that very often. And I believe that they need offensive line help so bad. They need to be able to give Bell the ball more often and not just in the pass game, right? And they need to keep Darnold up. So Tristan Wirfs to the Jets with the 11th pick. Up next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. And with the Raiders here, I truthfully believe they take the second of the two top receivers here in Jerry Jeudy. Now, Jerry Jeudy is special, right? He's probably the best route runner in this year's draft. He has insane hands, and he has a great ability to catch mostly anything thrown to him, right? So they definitely need that receiver help. I think last year their best receiver was their tight end in Waller, and I don't think you can do that, especially with having a great running back in Josh Jacobs that they have. I think adding Judy here gives whatever quarterback is taking snaps in Las Vegas that much more of an ability to pass the ball. And with Jerry Judy catching the ball, that team, that offense is just going to skyrocket. So up next we have the Indianapolis Colts. Now I was torn with these picks, with the Colts picks, right? Because they need help at receiver, QB, and interior line, right? Now they have Jacoby Brissett, and I believe Jacoby Brissett can still play. I believe he just needs a little bit more help, right? And with that being said, I have them taking over receiver. I have them taking Derek Brown. The fact that Derek Brown fell to them here is probably one of the big things for them, and they see him there and they're definitely taking him. Derek Brown is a monster of a man. He has great hands and great length with those arms, right? He has insane power. He has an insane motor, right? That's always running, and he is probably the best defensive lineman when it comes to eating up running backs, right? Meaning if a running back comes anywhere within his vicinity, he's getting his hands on him and bringing him down, right? So that's definitely a great run stopper. Clogger keeps your linebackers free to make plays. So, yep, Brown going to the Bengals. Up next, we have the intriguing Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Now, the Buccaneers need interior defensive line as well, and QB and offensive tackle. I would throw a running back in there, too, as one of their big needs as well. But with that being said, I believe they take the second best edge rusher off the board in AJ Epinesa. Now, Epinesa is unique because he could play anywhere on the line, actually, right? So he could play on the edge. He could play nose tackle. He could play anywhere on the line, right? So you're basically getting a jack of all trades when it comes to a defensive lineman here. Epinesa can play, like I said, anywhere on the line, and he has great length and insane power, right? He doesn't give up much when he sets edges. And what I mean by that is when he sets an edge, think of it as a bookend, right? So he's on the edge, he comes up and he stops, right? So then he doesn't allow the line or the running back to get around him or anything like that. He stops any play from going that direction, right? And that's what they kind of mean by setting the edge, right? And I think with Epinesa there, I think they take him and pretty much fill a very big need there in Tampa Bay. Up next, we have the Denver Broncos. Now, the Denver Broncos need offensive help. They need tackle help. They need wide receiver help. And I think they take Henry Ruggs, the speedster from Bama. Now, Henry Ruggs, he has the ability to take the top off the defense. He creates angles in the pass game. And he has great hands for a speedster. You know, usually faster guys have a tendency to drop the ball more. They're on the smaller side, but he can definitely help free up Courtland Sutton, and help Drew Lock in the passing game. So I have them taking Henry Ruggs, the third, with the 15th pick. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, they let go of Vic Beasley this year, so they are definitely in need of an edge rusher, right? That defense was really bad. They need help at defensive line. They need help at cornerback. They need help at running back, safety. They basically need help anywhere. But with that being said, and Chason sitting there now, Chason he has insane explosion off the line. He possesses long arms with powerful. He has long arms that are powerful, and he has great body control when rushing, right? Off the edge. So he puts his hands out, and basically his hands keep the offensive linemen from being able to put their hands on him, right? And when he comes around the edge, he's got the ability to come around the edge, control himself, and get to the QB, right? He does need a little help, or does need a little work. I saw a couple plays where he took off, But Chase on right here, the Falcons get a great edge rusher and helps out that defense. Now we have my Dallas Cowboys, who are always in the news, and I just get so tired of always seeing them in the news. But we have the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe here they take a safety, even though they most likely will lose Byron Jones. But I think they take Grant Delpit here. Grant Delpit, very physical and good at attacking the ball, possesses great ball skills, and he's great in man and zone coverage. And they need that. They need that, especially if they lose Byron Jones. Right now, I know he has a knock against his tackling ability, but if he can stop guys from catching the ball, who am I to judge, right? So we're definitely taking Grant Delpit with the 17th pick. Now we have the second pick in the first round for the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins, I think the fact that they have a really weak defensive line as well, and the fact that Javon Kinlaw is there, I think they take Kinlaw. He's great. He has great explosion off the ball. He has sneaky quickness, right? And he has insane upper body strength. So he's fast, he's strong. He does have a bit of a knee injury, so that's going to be interesting to see what they talk about when it comes to that. But getting Javon Kinlaw right here to help bolster that defensive line in Miami, I think is a good pick. Now we have the second pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. Man, that's so hard to say. And I think with their second pick, they take Christian Fulton. Fulton, cornerback from LSU, very flexible. He has great body control. He's probably the best corner playing with his back towards the ball, right? So when the ball's thrown in the air, corner has his back to it, and he just has this insane ability to somehow be able to break up passes. And I think with them picking up Fulton here, bolsters that defense just that much more better. Bolsters that defense and, helps shut down some of the big plays that they gave up last year. Now we have Jacksonville. Now Jacksonville, I chose not to draft a corner with their first pick, but they have the second pick, and they could use either a linebacker or a cornerback, right? But I have them taking CJ Henderson from Florida. CJ Henderson, he's very long. He has long arms, gives him the ability to play through receivers to get to the ball, right? So if a receiver can't catch the ball, they can't move the ball, right? And I think picking up CJ Henderson helps bolster that secondary with the loss of Ramsey going to the Rams. Up next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Now with the Philadelphia Eagles, I have them, truthfully, I think they're going to make a big splash in free agency trying to get a cornerback this offseason or this free agency. And with that being said, I think they take a big receiver here. I think they go and they take, Chenault is there, but I think they take T. Higgins. He's big, big and strong, not afraid to catch the ball, right? So if you throw it up the middle, he's going up for it. He's great in catching in traffic. He will jump over defenders for the ball, right? He has sneaky speed, and I believe with the lack of receiving that the Eagles had last year, I think adding T. Higgins just bolsters that receiving core by so much. But up next, we have the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Buffalo Bills are in need of an edge rusher or receiver, right? Now, I have them taking Chenault here. I think Allen needs just enough. They were so close last year, right? And I believe if they get Chenault and he falls to them here, then they basically get a Swiss Army knife at receiver, right? He could play the X, he could play the Y, he could play in the kick return, and he also took snaps, right? He's big, he's strong, and I think he'll be a great weapon for Allen and that Buffalo offense. Up next, we have the Patriots, and I believe this is the year that they draft a quarterback to possibly replace Tom Brady. And with that being said, they take the big Jordan Love, right? Now, Jordan Love, he's big, he's strong, he's fast. He possesses great size and mobility. He can make plays with his arm and his legs. and he has a really fast over the head release, right? So a lot of quarterbacks, they throw sidearm, they throw over the head and all that, but his is really quick over the head, so he gets the ball out really fast, right? But he needs a little help on decision making, and I believe him going to the Patriots really helps him here. Up next, we have the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints, they need offensive line and they need receiver help, right? And with that being said, I think they take, where is it? Right here. Jefferson's still on the board, but I think they go for the speedy receiver Rager from TCU. Just he has insane speed, right? Track star speed. Takes the top off the defense. He can take a slant to the house. He would be a nice pairing with Michael Thomas, Drew Brees. And I think if they take Jalen Reagor here, that offense is just going to be hard to stop next year. Up next, we have the Minnesota Vikings, and with the Minnesota Vikings, I have them taking a cornerback, and I have them taking Trayvon Diggs from Alabama. Now, Trayvon Diggs is great in the zone coverage, and he has the ability to shine in press coverage, and he definitely helped that secondary in Minnesota. Rhodes is not showing the same ability he did as to be a lockdown corner a few years ago. They're possibly losing one of their safeties in Harris this year. So I think adding Diggs there bolsters that secondary and helps them out in a much needed situation. Up next, we have the Miami Dolphins with their third and final pick in the first round. And with that being said, I think the Miami Dolphins take something that they could have taken earlier, but I believe the fact that he fell this far really benefits the Dolphins, and they get a steal here in Josh Jones. Now, Josh Jones possesses good athleticism. He has fluid hips, which allow him to pull with ease. Now, when a lineman pulls, it's usually on a toss play, right? So it'll be a running back will catch the ball out of the backfield going to the side, and one of the linemen will pull out to pick up a block on the edge, right? And that's what it means when they say pulling lineman. And so he pulls with ease. He would really help out the Dolphins, and especially getting him with their third first-round draft pick. I think they take Josh Jones here and help out that offensive line. Up next, we have the Seattle Seahawks, who had one of the worst pass rushes last season, right? I think they had something like 28 sacks or something. I can't remember how many sacks they had. But they definitely need edge rusher help. And with that being said, they could also use cornerback help, but I believe they go for probably one of my favorite edge rushers in this year's draft in Yedier Gross-Matos, right? He has long arms, which help him at the point of attack, right? So if you can keep an offensive lineman from putting his hands on you because your arms are that much longer, then that gives you the ability to control them. And with that being said, he never gives up on a play, and I believe that he would really help out and bolster a very weak pass rush defense there in Seattle. Up next, we have the Baltimore Ravens, and with the Ravens, I have them selecting another edge in Terrell Lewis, and he possesses sudden explosiveness, in which helps him take the edge with his speed, right? So he's so fast he can get around the offensive lineman and basically in your backfield, right? And he possesses really good tackling ability. So I believe with them taking Terrell Lewis here helps bolster that defense just that much more. There's a few players on that team that might be leaving in free agency, and I think he would be a good replacement for said player. Up next, we have the Tennessee Titans. Titans, please, 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 you need to re-sign Derrick Henry. If you don't, I just don't see you guys making it back to the playoffs again. But with that being said, I believe with the 29th pick, the Tennessee Titans take an edge rusher to help bolster that defensive line as well. And I have them taking Julian Okwara from Notre Dame, right? Now, Julian Okwara has a great burst and bend ability, meaning he can, even if he gets hit by linemen, he can bend his body to get himself around the edge, right? As well, he also has the ability to shrink the pocket, meaning he possesses power to where he can push the lineman into the pocket and causing the pocket to shrink around the quarterback, which, you know, has the ability to bat balls, cause fumbles, and all that other good stuff. But I believe they take Julian Okwara here. Up next, we have the Green Bay Packers. Now, with the Green Bay Packers, they need help at tackle, receiver, tight end, right? Those are the three important parts. But I believe they get a weapon for Rodgers here. And I saw him play this year, and the dude was a monster. We ended up losing. But Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State, right? He's a big play threat. Either in catching or creating after the catch or stretching the defense vertically, or he also plays in the return game, so that, you know, gives them options there with another receiver. And I think pairing him with Rodgers and Adams on the other end, I think really makes that passing game that much better. So Ayuk going to the Packers. Up next, we have the 49ers. Now, the 49ers need help at cornerback, right? We saw their cornerbacks get, well, not cornerbacks, but we saw Richard Sherman get exposed in quite a bit of plays last year in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. And with that being said, I think the fact that they need secondary help, because I think Jimmy Ward is a free agent this year as well. I believe that Xavier McKinney is a perfect fit here. Right, he's very intelligent and he has the ability to break up plenty of passes. Right, receivers can't catch the ball, they can't score, they can't move the chains. Right, he does possess the ability to tackle. He is not afraid to tackle. He loves to hit, and with the Niners defense that they have now, that's something they all enjoy too. And I believe Xavier McKinney is a great fit there in San Francisco. Now, with the last pick we have in the first round, we have the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs last year, they have the comeback kid in Patrick Mahomes, and I believe that they need help at defensive line, right? And they have Gallimore here from Oklahoma, he's great at the point of attack and the ability to disengage when offensive linemen put their hands on him, right? So he has the great ability to keep offensive linemen from being able to hold him, right? He has great feet, which allow him to move across the line and pivot. So if he's moving across the line and the running back cuts back, he can pivot his hips to, you know, change direction. And he could really help out the defensive line there in Kansas City that struggled in the run game. And I think with their first round draft pick, or with their first pick, or their pick in the first round, I think the Kansas City Chiefs take Gallimore here. So that finalizes our first round, and I think it came out pretty good. We have some good picks. Now, that's going to be it for me. This is my 1.0 mock draft. So remember, you guys can leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Please comment. You know, put down your guys' links to your guys' mock drafts. Let me know what you guys would change on here, what you guys would keep. And yeah, just give me some pointers for next time. Y'all take it easy. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and pound the hell out of that little notification bell up top. That way you guys get notified every time I upload a video. And that's going to be it for me. Y'all take it easy. I love y'all. Peace.